Hello, so this is my new 2005 987 Boxster S. I've recently picked this car up to replace my MX-5. Today I'm just going to show you a bit about the car, tell you why I bought it, and have a bit of a walk around to see whether you should buy one too. Maybe you're interested in buying one or you already own one. So I picked this car up recently after seeing it listed on Auto Trader. From seeing it listed on Auto Trader, I did a bit of research into these cars and what the common issues were. On doing some more research for these cars, I did actually find a YouTube video on this very car. I decided to go and have a look, and here it is. So starting at the front of the car, we've got the new updated headlights. They lose that orange bit at the bottom. With this new design, it does make the car, just brings it up to date, makes it look a lot more modern, and even to the 718 of the current generation, they haven't strayed away from this headlight design. So for a 17-year-old car, it still does look up to date. Coming around the side of the car, one of the things that I was looking for when buying a Boxster was these 19-inch lobster claw alloys. These are off the 911 of the era, so the 997. They just seem to be the most desirable of the wheels, and I think they look really good on this generation. Behind the wheels you can see the red calipers. This is something that is exclusive to a Boxster S. On the standard Boxster they're not coloured. It also has the updated intake along the side. On the 986 it was more of a circle. Now they're a little bit more elongated, just going down the side of the car. Again, I think just making it look a lot more modern. And we're off. Okay, so why a Boxster? Mainly I thought I couldn't afford a 911, which is a classic, of course. The reason why everyone says you buy a Boxster is because you couldn't afford a 911, but I genuinely couldn't. It was between the Boxster or the Cayman. I like them both, but I think the Boxster does everything that a Cayman does, but the roof comes off. Win-win. I don't see why you would get a Cayman. They do look a lot better, but you can't take the roof off, which is a big downside for me. Another reason for a Boxster is because you can't really get a mid-engined car in this price point. The advantage of being mid-engined, you do get those two boots, which means it's just immensely practical. It means you can take it on longer road trips where someone has the front boot and someone has the back. But you can also daily it as well. I've taken, in my short ownership of this car, I've had pretty large parcels that do fit in the front boot. And I actually very rarely use the rear boot. With everything that's going on at the moment and World War III being imminent, this car has scientifically been proven to be the best car to avoid machine gun fire. That was a very important factor in the buying process and something that did come to mind when looking at these cars. So I went with this car specifically, mainly because I've seen it online. It was very reasonably priced for the mileage as well. It was very highly specced. It had those lobster claw wheels on, as I showed you outside, and also it has the Bose sound system, which can be seen here. If it doesn't have Bose, that's just a storage bin, but I really had no need for storage. And also, when I do come to sell this car, I do want it to be desirable. I want it to sell quickly. I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep this for, whether it's going to be a matter of months or years. Who knows at this point. It depends how I get on with it. Also, when buying a Porsche, these Boxsters do have high residual values. From what I can see, the previous generation, the 986, has now become a classic. And with that car gaining classic status, I see them going for the good ones around £8,000 or £9,000. So with this one, I bought it at 12, and I can't see a 987 being worth less than
the 986, the first gen cars. So hopefully with that market coming up, this market will follow. I can't really see it going below 10, so it doesn't bother me too much, the price of this, just because I feel that money's going to come back when I do come to sell the car. The issues that I've found with this car specifically so far, I think it is quite a good example. It does have a slight knock at the front, which I did feel when I test drove the car, but it didn't seem too significant. It's probably just a drop link or something along those lines. It still handles fine, and there's no sign of it getting any worse. Plans for this car, I do have one or two changes that I want to make to the car. Obviously I'm going to look into the suspension, which depends on whether that's a cheap fix or not. It depends whether I do get new suspension for it. If I were, potentially drop the car a little bit just because the rear arch is quite high, but I would also put some spacers on just to fill the car out a little bit. In terms of sound of the car, this is a replacement for my MX-5, which obviously does sound a lot better. So I'm just going to get used to it, put a few more miles on the clock, drive around just to enjoy the summer really. We do have a heat wave on the way, so I'll be enjoying it with the roof down. I will come back with some more insight once I've got used to driving a mid-engine car, because this is the first time I've driven a mid-engine car. If you have enjoyed the video or you want to see more videos on this car, maybe you're thinking of buying one, please do subscribe, because there'll be plenty more videos to come, and to help me justify my purchase in this really, to make me feel like I haven't made a mistake. Well, for what it costs, it's great value for money, as you are getting all the performance from a Porsche.